good boy.
Hey.
Good boy.
Good boy. Thanks, man.
Good boy. Good boy to you and yours.
What if you were looking at your dog and you're like, good boy. And
boy.
the dog was like, you got it.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Hey,
You too.
Hey, you too.
You too.
And you both cry. It's great. I know you're not caught up with The Good Place.
Oh,
but-
wait.
I'll do an intro. I'll do a proper intro in a second. But on The Good Place, they two bros do a secret handshake.
Nice.
But while they're crying, but it's like a long, elaborate thing. But they're still crying during
Yeah.
it. Real good joke.
Simone is the brain lady?
Yeah, brain lady.
She's great. I just got to Eleanor's, like, she pulls out her from the cake and everything. And so her and Simone have like it's when the group's going to split up or whatever.
Oh, so did you watch the end of the episode?
Yeah. And so...
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So Simone's all like... Eleanor's like, help my brain. She's like, oh, you could go to a child psychologist or maybe get a binky.
Yeah.
Because Simone's the best.
She's really good. That you're one episode away from the next episode.
Yeah,
is
I've heard really good things about it.
Real good.
All right.
You want to kick it off? We're going to do Let's Talk Comics.
I'm going to do them both at the same time.
3, 2, doink. Doink to you and doink to the people that you love. Welcome to Let's Talk Comics. This is the show where DJ Woolridge
That's me.
and Sam Bashur
That's you.
gather around the campfire with all our favorite people.
I wish we did have a fire. I
would
can't
love
think of
it.
a way to do it
In
that's
this not phenylated
No,
room,
yeah. It would be super
we'd be
dangerous.
dead so quick. But we gather around and we talk about all the newest comics of the week, or
Yes.
the ones, at least the ones we could read. The ones we could get our fingies
Yeah.
on. But we talk about Marvel comics, we
Yes.
talk about DC comics, and we talk about indie comics. That's the catch-all.
We
And
talk
we
about
also
Mama Comics.
and we go to our Discord and we see what you guys are reading as well. I love that you guys have a little comic book club. We're supposed to be reading stuff that you suggest, and guess what? We're failing.
Yeah,
Straight
we're
up,
failing.
we're
We're
failing.
busy. We're busy
failing.
boys. And I'm just happy I was able to read anything this week, if I'm being honest.
It's been so goddamn busy.
Yeah, catching up on Daredevil. That really, like,
Really bungled us.
yeah. So,
You want to start with Marvel?
well, here's what I was thinking. I actually had a pretty Marvel-centric week. And so I didn't know if maybe we wanted to end with Marvel and start with DC, which for me was a little bit lighter this week.
Sure, let's do that. Because we both read at least one DC book.
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's do Action Comics. 'Cause,
Okay.
we got questions.
First off, for those watching the video, nice shiny cover. But even if it wasn't shiny, I don't really care about the gimmicky shiny covers. I love the design of this cover.
It's really
lovely.
pretty.
I like.
Yeah, lovely's a good word for it.
And the artist is Steve Rude, and it's just for those at home. It's just Superman looking at flying and looking at some ducks, and it's just really like,
The Long Ducks.
yeah, it just looks iconic. I don't know. So this issue, Action Comics number 1004.
We should just go back to 4.
Yeah,
I think you earned it.
It's just 004,
Yeah.
like, because they only go up to 3 digits. So in this issue is basically about. It starts with the gossip columnist is like, I've got a picture of Lois Lane with Lex Luthor, and we flash back to the night prior to Superman having a heart-to-heart with Lois, which I feel like should have
should
happened
be-
last issue because that's when we found out she was back. But
Yeah,
whatever.
But that's when we find Lois should be off in space with
Yes.
their son
Yes.
and evil grandpa.
Yeah.
And they're not, and she's not there.
Because John didn't need her, she says.
So yeah, we get an explanation of why she's here, and I think we're both
And
super confused by it.
Her not being here is normal comic book, whatever. John's fine on his own, whatever. Although I can't help but like feel suspicious that this isn't Lois, except her and Clark definitely have sex. Which is something comics don't normally do if the person's not who they say they are. Because it just complicates things.
Michael Bendis loves those complicated sex scenes.
So there's that, but here's the part that confused me. Whether you accept it or not, I understood the explanation that John's doing great on his own. He's whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I understand it. So as far as comic book cutting to the quick goes, here's what I am legitimately confused. I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of their conversation about what she's like. No, I don't want to split up, but we have an unconventional relationship, so let's let it be unconventional. ... And I don't know what she means by that. Because what happens is he goes and there's this awesome splash page where he takes out a bunch of people from an Iron Heights breakout, which by the way, that's Flash's turf.
Yeah.
Not cool
Yeah.
going on. Who did the art for this, by the way?
I think it's Ryan Sook.
Yeah. It's amazing. This is a beautiful looking comic.
Ryan Suck.
And then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, you're right."
That last frame is, I think, my favorite.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's Superman and Lois just holding each other in the sky, and
Okay, you know,
basically she wants to be left alone to write her book.
leave me alone. Too clingy.
Yeah, I don't. I can't. I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of it. What does Lois want to be a swinger now? Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to. What does she? If the relationship is unconventional and she wants to be unconventional in this context, what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't think there's actually a clear answer. I don't know. I don't get that it's a sexual freedom thing. Like,
Yeah,
it's like
I don't
so
necessarily
they
think
wanna
that
swing
either.
or
But
an
I
open relationship.
don't know what it means.
And because it's like that we just
Open
don't.
relationship. That's what I was
Open
looking for.
relationship, yeah. It's 2018. There's no swingers in the
Yeah.
90s. We just, I don't know. It's like, is it that you just don't disclose everything with each other anymore?
Which
or,
that doesn't seem healthy.
No, but also it's like but also what could be understandable is like sometimes I'm gonna need to go off and write something. That's it. But that doesn't sound like an opening. That doesn't sound like.
Well, and her example of that is like, and you need to go off and save people. It's like, yeah, that doesn't stop though.
Yeah.
Like, you write a book and then you finish the book and then you'll take a break and then maybe you want to do another book. That makes sense. But he's Superman. This is going to be, if for no other reason that he's got two comics coming out every month. Like, this is going to be a thing. So I don't know. It left me. The character is the rhythm of it was lovely. Their conversations had a cool dynamic to them. I like the way Brian Bendis tackles the humanity of Superman. I don't understand what I was supposed to get out of this issue.
Me neither. And unless it was meant to like tear down the relationship for a second, and then show them having really sweet and tender moments together.
Which I liked.
You get a lot of those. And
Yeah.
you get stuff that's like more adult in the sense that it's like they are having sex.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
But like,
Good for you.
Super cool.
You had a kid. We knew that was happening.
Yeah. Even though the circumstances of that are so confusing.
We don't need to get into that.
But no, there's what was I gonna say? I don't think it actually makes any sense. I think just because we keep asking questions, I don't think there is an answer there.
Yeah.
Maybe if you gave it 2 more issues, you'd be like, oh, I see what you're meaning.
because he does like to do the I mean, the fact that Lois was revealed to be back 2 issues ago, and now we're just getting to this.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe you're right. Maybe 2 issues from now we'll get it.
And why was she in disguise?
And also, my understanding of that is she didn't want anybody to find her. The fact of not wanting Clark to find her, it feels mean. It feels mean.
Yeah, it
You know
feels
what I
really
mean?
mean. And why would Lex go to her? And also, that's obviously going to mean more. It's going to mean something else. Like
Yeah.
when they get
All of
over
this-
the red cloud stuff, this is what's happening next.
All of this would normally tell me this is not actually Lois Lane.
Yeah, same. No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. It's pre-New 52. Lois Lane mesh with
They
New
did bring
52.
back pre-New 52 spoilers last week's Sideways. They brought back New 52 Superman, which I love the costume. So cool.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, but here's my question. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's back." It's like, didn't they merge?
I thought that
He
was
didn't
Prime.
go away. It's like for me when they introduced old school Wally and then with the Wallace, it's like I thought, weren't they supposed to be the same person?
That's complicated.
Yeah.
They made that overly complicated.
Yeah, it's like I thought that was They introduced Wallace now, and I just like that's New 52 Wally, and I'm fine with it. And then they introduced pre-New 52 Wally. I was like, oh, I don't know now.
Yeah. I also
I don't know what's happening.
Nah, yeah, I thought that was Prime Superman because we didn't do an episode last week, so we can kind of dive into some of those.
So Sideways was fine, but it ends with him t-shirt, jeans, Superman. That's so
Which
beginning
looks
New
like
50.
that.
Yeah,
But a lot of people, because I was reading like forums online, and that the way he was talking sounded like Prime, but he looks like New 52. So I'm like, you know what the answer for me is? I have no idea.
the answer for me is why haven't you given me an action figure of that costume? Because I would buy it.
It's really cool. I don't know, why was he in a cocoon? And I did like that the red ant Superman's called Rant, and that's it because I couldn't really understand anything else that was happening.
I enjoy Sideways. I'm not enjoying this arc as much as the first one. It feels like we're taking a break from the main story, and it feels a little early for that to be happening.
Is it getting canceled? Someone threw that out there.
Oh, I hope not. My holdout, the ones I'd like to see not get canceled are Sideways and probably Silencer.
Terrific's my name.
The other ones I don't really. I did get Terrifics this week. I haven't read it yet.
I won't spoil it for you, but I'll give a review.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Action Comics has some very sweet Brian Michael Bendis moments where he knows relationships, which is really cool, and modern relationships where it's like, no, these people are willing to have discussions and talk about it, but it was after the spouse had to go literally search the earth and find this person who was trying to avoid them. So it's like, yeah, that's probably not Lois.
But then how does Superman not know?
How does he not know?
And also with all of his abilities, how is he not able to
figure it out? And if they did have sex, so let's you know what? Hey, if you want drama, give it. It's soap opera. There you go. That's total soap opera.
It's not normally Superman's type of soap opera, but I mean, we'll see the art in these comics. They've given Brian Bendis the best artist in the DC roster for these books, so that on its own makes it worth picking up. And again, for the most part, I like the rhythm of it and the conversation so much. I just feel like they're being a little too cagey for me.
And that cover is so good. But
cover's so beautiful.
We both read The Witching Hour Part 4, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah. It's been switching off. There's the beginning and the end are one-shots, and then they've been flipping between the books, which Justice League and Aquaman and Titans are about ready to do a similar crossover. And I've determined that at least Witching Hour is a great example of a good crossover event.
Yeah, where it's just these characters.
It's just these characters. It's a fun concept.
It affects the world.
It's a big world-shaking thing, but it only really involves these main characters. And it's a fun concept, and it doesn't really get too bogged down. It's not trying to do too much.
And wow, Tynion writes every single one of them, which is really cool.
Which also makes it nicer. And then the artists are different, but they're both very talented artists. This was Emanuela Lupacchino. If you're watching this and I butchered your name, I apologize. But the two,
thanks for the support.
I like the two artists on these books, and I like the fact that even though they're different, their styles are similar. It's a good way to do an event. I like it.
Overall, it's and also it's really interesting. It has a cool when they first introduced Hecate with the branding on Wonder Woman's face on her forehead. It was super scary because it was genuinely like, oh, this feels like a horror comic. And now that they're unpacking it a little bit, it's nice and comic booky. It's very big. It's like, I don't know if I can connect with this technically, but like, I like all the side characters introducing. Like they have Black Orchid showing up, Manitou Dawn. No idea who that is.
She's from Joe Kelly's Justice JLA run, which was after Grant Morrison's. And if you can find it, I actually highly recommend it. I think it's really good.
She's fun. I don't know what her deal is, but she's fun.
With another character, Manitou Raven, who's even more obscure. And then Witchfire is a super obscure character. I'm kind of bummed. I know nobody else in the world cares. I'm kind of bummed she's dead because I think it's a fun character.
Hey, maybe she's not. She's talking a lot.
And also, it's magic. She could just and she's also obscure enough that if a few years from now she's just alive again, everybody like, fine.
Yeah. And you get some Tracy 13. And
yeah. I think it's Nightshade and Enchantress.
That's Nightshade.
And the two other people that are with her, I think it's Nightshade and Enchantress, even though it's like a panel. And then you get some fun stuff with Constantine, which again, I was telling you before, I like that even though he's not technically part of the team, he's around. I like that.
And Swamp Thing, and you're getting the Parliament of the Trees. There's like there's a lot to like in this. And Zatanna, I like that she has a say in what's happening. And the dynamic between Detective Chimp and Man-Bat, I just love it. It's so enjoyable.
Honestly, all these are some of my favorite characters. Zatanna, Detective Chimp, and even though I never cared about Man-Bat before, this is a really cool characterization for him.
Have him talk. Have him like, because in New 52 they made it like anyone can be him. They like anyone just gets this virus, and they kind of like shrunk it a little bit. It's just him. He does have his intelligence. He can be kind of like a werewolf a little bit, which is fun.
There's normal human in between, and then Man-Bat.
Which is fun. That's a fun way to do it. And I like the Oblivion Bar. There's a lot of fun magical things that they get to play with. I'm excited for them to...
Nightmaster's Sword, which goes to another dimension, which is actually super confusing, but you don't need to worry about it here.
Okay, not now, but you know it's there. But I do like with this that this is a one-off story that's going to be a probably important payoff later. But
specifically in Justice League Dark.
And I'm excited for them to get back to that story because the Upside Down Man was really interesting.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how this informs that.
And the whole Dr. Fate stuff, like him being done. He's like, no, we're just gonna kind of clean house. We're just tired of this bullshit.
Yeah, because Dr. Fate's one of those classic. Like the character Dr. Fate is good. Nabu.
And Injustice 2 is the same thing.
Yeah, he's off on it. He does his own thing.
Remember in Injustice 2, there's that one cutscene where he's on the Earth, like he's on Earth, and like one guy's being like crushed to death, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." Nabu just like
when you get to the
Nobu, what's his name?
Nabu. It's Nabu. Him and Spectre, the big cosmic ones. It's like they're playing their own game.
Yeah, and you should feel bad, but also it's like, man, can't really reason with them. I did want to give a shout out to some of the other DC books I read. Flash, what they're teasing next could be so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. It's the Force Quest. He's going to be jumping universes with Iris. It's Barry and Iris teaming up together, and they're going to be figuring out how the other forces are affecting things, and which is a fun concept.
Yeah.
And they're done with the Sage Force, which I wish I could tell you what that was.
Fair enough. All right.
Heatwave had it, and it created like a mind palace where like they were just trapped in there with Heatwave. I don't know why Heatwave got it. I don't know. Can't tell you.
Right.
But I did want to show you this final frame where it's on another Earth. It's Cowboy Flash. And they tease that Hunter Zolomon is going to be a big bad. That like while no one knows where he is dressed up as the classic Flash, which is cool. And
Is that Howard Porter?
Yes. Oh no. This is the guy. Sorry, I'm gonna get his name right. He did the Jeff Johns run, and his last name is right here. It is Scott Collins.
Oh, gotcha. He flipped off between him and Howard Porter. I believe.
Scott Collins, I really like his art. Yeah. I really, really like his art. But you get Cowboy Flash dying because of Hunter Zolomon. So
is that from Justice Riders?
I think it's something. It's Johnny Thunder. It might be, but there's like modern day stuff, so I can't really tell.
Gotcha.
I don't think they'd kill him specifically because he's slightly more popular. This is just somebody else. Gotcha. But I do like the idea of them jumping dimensions now. Cross your fingers that this is interesting. Please, for the love of Christ, want this to be good. It's Earth 18. There you go. I didn't read Book of Magic. It's the next Sandman book, but I did pick it up, as well as Detective Comics. But I did read Titans, which is tying in with the Aquaman stuff.
Yeah, leading up to it, because next week is the official beginning of Drowned Earth. But like other events, it's like, oh, there's 5 issues before that to know what's happening.
Yeah, they have. It's kind of started, but you're not really seeing how people are being affected by it totally. This is Garth with the Titans, which is great. Garth, he has like laser vision or something. I always forget that. It happened in the Titans run before, and now it happened again. I'm like, oh yeah.
Aqualad Garth? Tempest?
Yeah. Right. He's got some kind of laser vision.
He's been around since the 40s. You know, who's to say at this point?
Who's to say? I picked up Silencer, read that, Justice League Odyssey. They're explaining more about what's happening, but I'll be honest, out of the Justice League books, Justice League Dark is this is more interesting than Justice League, or at least a little bit better, but
yeah, I didn't bother picking it up. I did pick up Silencer, I just haven't read it yet.
Yeah, Terrifics you picked up, so you're gonna read it, but so you'll kind of figure out more.
I think I'm gonna wait till the end of this arc, and then I'm probably gonna drop it. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And the arc is one more issue away, I think.
Then we'll call it.
Yeah, you got your multiverse adventure. I wish the writing was better in this book. It's so weird.
I wish Doc Shannon was doing the art for all of it.
Yeah, it's real bad. It's real bad, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but it's bad. But I think that's it for DC.
Did you pick up any indie books?
Let's see. I'm rereading Giant Days.
Yeah, I could see there's like a bunch of Giant Days
over
there.
I went camping. I wanted to read a nice book. Yeah, I'm rereading that. But I did pick up a lot of Marvel. So did you pick up any?
I did pick up an indie book. I picked up Lodger.
This was on the
pull list. Yeah, Lodger by David and Maria Lapham. And they do the Stray Bullets series, which if you like crime stories, I can't recommend Stray Bullets enough. And this is a very compelling beginning. It's definitely an opening chapter. I can't really... It leaves a lot off the table, as it were. But this girl is chasing a serial killer who murdered her parents and who probably had, let's call it, a relationship with her. So it's a dark crime comic, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to see where it goes because I trust the Laphams. It's I don't know what else to say except I really liked it. But yeah, it's just a cool.
Art's really good.
Yeah, David Lapham does art, and him and his wife write it.
That's cool that teams like that do that.
Yeah, it's just, and it's a cool, like, again, it's kind of a darker crime comic, which is what Stray Bullets is too. So it might not be for everybody, but it is definitely for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Marvel because we read a bunch. Let's start with the one we both read.
I just noticed something when I laid these out. Do you see
Live it.
A little bit of a pattern there.
There's Amazing Spider-Man. There's Moon Knight, and then there's the
Arachnite.
Infinity Warp. What do you think of this Infinity Warp?
Infinity Warp. So this is continuing off of the Infinity Wars, where all the characters are merging, and this is Spider-Man and Moon Knight, which are two of my favorite characters. And I did not enjoy this comic.
I
which
didn't. Oh,
bummed
it's
me
Dennis.
out.
It's Dennis Hopeless. I think that's
Yeah.
why I liked it more. I like his. I like. There's
think-
a lot of ideas. I like his. I like the way he writes, the way people talk. I like his dialogue.
I think I would have enjoyed it if the art was better.
Yeah.
And maybe if it had more time. Like it has to it blitz through so much.
Oh, yeah.
That it's like, why are we even bothering? Like, I'm not really getting a real sense of this world at all, which feels like a waste of the premise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Even give it like one more issue. Like give
Yeah.
them each three, because each of these Infinity Warps are 2 issues.
Yeah. The iron.
That's crazy.
The Iron Hammer. That
Yeah.
one's. Oof. They move through just. They just plow through Norse mythology really quick, and you're like, I didn't get any of that. But
Yeah.
okay. Well, he has Thor's hammer, so there you go.
Cool.
And in this, I like the multiple personalities. Like, oh, you have the scientist. I like the creativity behind how Spider-Man split up.
Yeah.
There's very little Moon Knight in there. It's mainly Spider-Man.
Well, you've got the multiple personalities. You've got his buddy Frenchie has been merged with Harry Osborn.
which I like their relationship.
Mary Jane Watson has been merged with Moon Knight's love interest, whose name just left me.
You look at her name, you'll see it. It's a mashup of their names. It's later on in the book.
Let's see here. Where?
Yeah, it's in that exchange. I think he says it. Am I blanking? I think he says.
Anyway, it's in there.
Yeah.
And then the multiple personalities, and then Green Goblin's merged with Werewolf by Night, which
There
is
you go.
which is where Moon Knight first appeared.
And
He first appeared in a Werewolf by Night comic as an antagonist of that character.
of Werewolf by Night. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Classic, Werewolf by Night. He's a good guy, but he's a werewolf, so everybody thinks he's a bad guy. You know what I mean? That sort of a thing.
What do you think of the costume?
Dope, really
Yeah.
cool, and I like the cover by wow, Humberto Ramos, who also did the art for Spider-Man this week.
Marley Jane is the woman's name. Marley Jane is the mix-up between
Gotcha.
Mary Jane and whoever Moon Knight's
Gotcha.
lady is.
Well, she's in the Moon Knight comic that I also picked up. So
Well, out of the Infinity Warps, I'll just say this is the most enjoyable one for me. And so if you didn't enjoy it, well, that
yeah, I'm
should
definitely not going to pick up the other ones.
yeah, that will give you a good hint of how that's going to go. But what do you think of Moon Knight, the 200th?
Yeah, so I picked up issue 200 because it's a milestone comic. I'm going to be honest with you. When I picked it up, I thought it was going to be like a lot of anniversary comics where it's kind of an anthology with different creators. It is not. It is definitely completion of the arc that has been going on. And it looks like, if I'd been reading that arc, it looks like a fun conclusion to that.
But you did read some of the art.
I read some of it, and it wasn't for me. It really started to go back to emphasizing his DID and those elements, which are not even though they're a big part of Moon Knight, I kind of like that Warren Ellis's run downplayed it a little bit. So it went away from the stuff I liked about Warren Ellis and Jeff Lemire's run, and so I dropped it. But the art in it is really cool, and I think I definitely, interestingly enough, it has so many interesting ideas in it that I might go back and read the collection.
Why not?
And see if I have a different feeling about it, because I like the way it concludes. It definitely feels like when you're reading the end of an arc and you're like, cool, we're gonna have to fit 25 ideas in a 5-pound sack and call it a day because it's the end of the road. You know what I mean? So as somebody just coming, I wouldn't recommend this if you're just coming in. I kind of bungled it on that part. But the cover is great.
Is that the end? Is it Moon Knight ending after this?
Yeah, reading the back of the book, it feels like it's the end of it. But it's they've been doing Becky Cloonan. Becky Cloonan's been doing the covers, and they're amazing.
Nice. I did read a good chunk of Amazing Spider-Man.
Nice.
What'd you think?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I really like the direction Nick Spencer's taking it in. It's just fun. I know people have some issues with Humberto Ramos's art because he has a very stylized look. I personally like it.
I like it sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, can I look like people? Can these people look like people for a second? You just get a little tired. He did Champions for a while.
And also, it's one of those like Iron Man calls up Spider-Man at one point and he puts on his mask and it's like, shit, man, I don't know. I don't know at this point who knows he's Peter Parker and who doesn't.
No idea.
It's so confusing at this point. I don't even know. But it's fun. I don't know if I'm excited. Like when they were going to the supervillain bar with Boomerang, that excited me. I don't know if like the Thieves Guild or whatever excites me.
It was interesting, but I don't know what. I mean, I only got halfway through, so I don't think I know more.
It also reconnects with one of my favorite Spider-Man characters. Also, it's Black Cat, but because I was just going to spoil it anyway, because it connects to the heist. It's interesting that this issue is coming out the same week as the Heist DLC
Could
for.
that be on purpose?
I feel like probably not. I don't know how
Probably,
they. I don't
yeah.
know how they would coordinate that.
Or just rename it Heist. They're like,
Yeah.
is there a heist in it? It's like, yeah, cool. Name it that. Easy.
But Black Cat's one of my favorite Spider-Man characters, so I'm always excited when she shows up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I read X-Men Red. That's Tom Taylor and his team. It's a very good X-Men book. It's very enjoyable. There's a great joke in there because like Jean Grey's new costume has like so much going on in it, and they make a really good joke about it. They're like, Storm's like, I get why you have the shoulder pads now. It's like it must be really heavy carrying the whole world on your shoulders. And it's like that's
good.
That's pretty good. And the way Cassandra Nova, like the weird stillborn sister.
Oh
of
yeah.
Professor
That's
X.
Grant Morrison shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they use her in this book, she's very scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's super.
Oh, yeah,
scary. I don't even know if she's a real person.
In Grant Morrison's run, she's the one that helps create these tiny sentinels that are like microbial and just rip
That's what
you
they
apart
use.
from the inside. Yeah, she's a nightmare.
Instead of ripping you apart,
Yeah.
they take over humans and basically make them like they just weaponize humans to go after mutants pretty quick.
Great. That
And
sounds
they
like
can-
Cassandra Nova shit.
Yeah, they can identify mutants too. They're like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
a mutant really quick. It's very
Yeah.
scary. But Trinary, original character they created, is someone who can just talk to machines really quick.
Cool.
And one of the
They
best
love it. Everybody loves that power.
hacking power is cool because
Yeah.
a sentinel shows up like a big one, and then she says sit, and it immediately sits down, so they get to ride their main transportation is a sentinel, which
Great.
I'm like, that's
Love
really
it.
fun. Tom
Are
Taylor
the-
has such cool ideas.
The Avengers are their home base is Celestial now, right? Mm-hmm. Celestial? Yeah. That's cool.
Out in the ocean somewhere, frozen. I don't know.
It looks cool, but by the way, kind of bullshit because you're definitely stealing that from the Guardians comic,
Yeah.
where their base is nowhere. I mean, it's cool,
Yeah.
but bullshit.
Hey, why not? Everyone hang out on a giant skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? I also picked up Sleepwalker, but I haven't read it. Sleepwalker was actually
Let me know
really
what
cool.
you think. Let me know what you think because that was one of those when I was collecting those superhero trading cards with my dad. That was a character that stood out to me.
In the first issue, it's really good. If you want
Nice.
to pick it up, basically when Gamora like folds the universe into like whatever, he lost his Sleepwalker lost his person that tethers him to the world. So
Yeah.
he's now trying to make his way through each Infinity Stone to get to the mind one where like dreams are. Like, basically,
Cool.
that's his like entrance. Like so, he's the way he's going about trying to get there is really interesting. Also, he's teaming up with Scott Banner. So it's Scott Lang and Bruce Banner. So the more angry
Sure.
he gets, the stronger and smaller he gets. And I'm like,
That's actually great. Why isn't that one of these one shots? That's great.
It's really funny. So like the more angry he gets, like the less you can see him, but it's like a bullet basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool, which bums me out. Sentry finished. Really fun comic, really dark.
I saw a little bit of he's running around with black hair and a red costume and stuff.
Basically, Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Let's see if I can explain this. They made a like mind palace.
Jeff Lemire, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
where he could. This is written really well, but Terrifics is like. Really
And
not
I
doing it
like
for me.
Jeff Lemire's run on Moon Knight, and also I highly recommend if you can find it. It's an old Image comic, Sweet Tooth, which was Jeff Lemire's breakout, and he also does the art, which is really great.
But in this, Sentry basically merges his Sentry persona instead of like turning into him.
Yeah.
He is him and the Void, and it's just
That's scary.
yeah, it is, and that's why he looks scary. But what's scary is they introduce like the Sentry family, and they have like Sentry Boy or whatever. It doesn't really matter because he takes the serum that Bob took.
Yeah.
Bob took. And his skin starts melting off, and it's like
Great.
it's pretty dark. And
Yeah.
so Sentry kills him. He's like, I'm just not gonna let you go through this because
Yeah.
you're going to die anyways. And he flies off into space, and that's the end of it. It's like, yeah, you okay? And he's talking to like Iron Man. He's like, you need to go to prison. He's like, I'm not gonna do that. So he's like, I'm not gonna stay
Yeah,
here.
basically, originally, Sentry came out of like an experiment about what if you tried, because they really tried to trick people that Sentry was an unpublished creation of Stan Lee back in the golden age of Marvel, with Silver Age of Marvel, with Spider-Man and Fantastic Four.
And that's Brian Michael Bendis who came up with him, right?
No, he's the one that it's the same thing that he did with the Hood. Somebody else did a little run with it that was kind of not in continuity, and then Brian Bendis integrated into his Avengers run.
Nice.
And so that
Sentry was really cool.
Yeah, and so it's basically, and now under the Void was a part of the original thing, but now after Bendis is running this, it's basically like, what if Captain Marvel / Superman was part of the universe, but he's crazy as fuck.
Like he also is evil Superman at the
Yeah.
same time. And so that was a cool run. I read Spider Girls, which it takes Mayday Parker,
Yeah.
who lost her parents, which is super duper sad.
Why, man?
That
Why do you
that was
just
a
let her
while
be?
back.
I know, but just let her be, man. Just let her. She had a run. She had a good run. Why do you post her series? Why do you got to make her miserable?
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have her. They have Aranya.
Yeah.
Or Anya.
Yeah.
And they have the Renew Your Vows couple, like the coupling, like the what is it?
It's Mary Jane and Spiderling, right?
Spiderling and Peter, and this is a few years in the future, so Spiderling's older. But
Nice.
maybe the Renew Your Vows series is like that now. I thought that she was a kid, but in this she's like a teenager. And they actually bring up this really interesting idea. They're like, why isn't there a Mayday? Why isn't there a May Parker? And you find out that there was, but she wasn't born. It was like it was a miscarriage, and it was really sad. But they tried again. They had Spiderling, which I'm blanking on. I think her name is
Mayday Parker.
Mayday Parker. I'm blanking on what her name is, but it's sweet to see them pair up, and it was actually a really good comic to see all like the girls together. So I want to read that. I read Ghost Spider with
Which is the new Spider-Gwen run, by the way, not the flaming-headed character from Spider-Man PS4.
There you go.
Yeah.
But in this, let's see if I can sum this up. I think she has a Venom symbiote. She's stuck on another Earth. That's it. Okay. Spider-Geddon. I'm just not. There's literally nothing actually happens in the comic, and it's a lot of pages.
Great.
Spider-Geddon. All like the tie-ins that happened before.
Yeah.
That now we're there, like where they're recruiting people. Now we got to that part.
Okay.
So which I don't know why we didn't do that earlier. So now we're caught up with that, and like they tease Spider-Man PS4, which is cool. They tease the Norman Osborn Spider-Man, which is cool. And Ghost Spider. What happened is mid teleportation between universes, her wrist thing got stolen, so that's why she's popped up in somewhere she doesn't know. And
Gotcha.
so that's what her story is about.
Gotcha.
Is there?
I haven't missed a Fantastic Four, have I? It's been like a minute.
There's been two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All
it.
right.
And I picked up Return of Wolverine issue 2, but I haven't read it yet. So that's it. That's all the comics that I got this week. Let me make sure. Yes, that is it.
But yeah, on the Discord, let us know what you all are reading and what you're enjoying and what we should be reading, and we will probably get there eventually.
Eventually, we're trying our hardest.
We're doing our best.
But
over
also
here, okay?
we want to read a suggestion book for the book club. But our brains have been melting recently, so we just gonna need just a second.
Maybe over the winter break.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
Easy, because we'll have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
We're going to take 2 weeks off, and we'll have time to at least read one issue. We can we'll cross our hearts.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We'll try to read one issue.
One issue. But we will be back next week talking about all the newest comics, so let us know what you guys are reading in the Discord or on Twitter at Sam Basher.
At DJ Talks Trash.
Or hit up onlysweetanswers.com. You guys know the drill. If you're on Patreon, you the dang best. Thank you for supporting us. And make sure you check out Super TV Showdown. You get the full video, you get the full audio, you get the full
everything.
shebang.
And if you miss our live Twitch show, you also get that in full if you're part of the $15 tier.
I think we beefed that up. I think I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I like that you're getting your money's worth.
Same, and I hope you guys like the content we're doing. I know we've had some technical difficulties over the past few weeks, but it looks like things are easing up on that front.
Thank Christ.
Yeah, same. Agreed. I agree. So yeah.
Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.